Mendocino County Assessment Appeals Board, January 24, 2022 meeting. Would the clerk, excuse me, would the clerk like to conduct roll call, please?
Member Barrett
Here.
and Chair Shepard.
Here. Would the clerk like to establish that there was proper notice for this meeting?
Proper notice has been established.
Thank you. And I would like to invite the clerk to confirm any agenda amendments.
Items 5B through 5K, also known as Protest Application 19-011, Application -19-012, Protest Application 19-013, Protest Application 19-014, Protest Application 19-015, Protest Application 20-032, Protest Application 20-033, Protest Application 20-034, Protest Application 20-035, and Protest Application 20-036 have been withdrawn by the applicant.
Thank you. So let's see, now we're going to go through the order of the proceedings. So agenda item number 2, approval of withdrawn applications. Would the clerk like to read into the record the requested withdrawals?
Yes, Protest Application 19-003, Anderson Valley Properties, APN number 046-110-47.
And are there any updates subsequent to the publication of the agenda?
Just the ones previously mentioned, 5B through 5K.
Okay, thank you. There's an opportunity for board members to discuss. Hearing none. I would like to invite a motion to accept the withdrawals.
I second it.
I think you actually have to make.
Oh, I'll make the motion to accept the withdrawals.
All right, thank you. I second.
What was that?
I second the motion to
Oh.
withdraw to accept the withdrawals.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 3, approval of stipulations in place of appearance and testimony. Apparently
There are none.
None. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 4, approval of requested continuances and/or postponements.
These will be the following: Protest Application 19-019, Protest Application 19-032, Protest Application number 19-033, 19-034, 19-035, 20-036, 20-037, 20-038, 20-018, 20-019, 20-020, 20-021, 20-022, 20-023, and 20-024.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the requested continuances and postponements?
I make a motion to approve the continuation.
And I second.
And we'd like to call the vote. Barrett,
Oh,
Approve.
Shepard,
aye.
motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 6, conduct assessment appeal protest hearing and presentation of evidence. Do we have parties to be sworn in?
Yes, we do. And this is agenda item number 5, not 6, just
Oh, I'm
for the
sorry.
record.
Pardon me. agenda is, would the clerk like to swear in the witnesses?
Yes, we are pulling everybody in so I can do so.
All right, thank you.
Video.
Okay, now that we have everybody, I will swear everybody in. Will all parties and witnesses please raise your right hand?
Dina, can you wait just 1 second for Mr. Benville?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Dina, did you include Mr. Benville in the panelist thing?
He's not accepting the application invite, so we're having a little technical difficulties pulling him in.
Gina's trying to help him. And then unmute him.
Okay, so now they can hear you now too.
Oh, they can.
Okay, and they can see.
Okay.
See
And
how?
close the door and he can take his mask off.
Yes, they're gonna swear you in.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Okay, now that we have everybody, will all parties and witnesses who are here to please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I do.
Thank you.
So apparently we need to determine who is to present evidence first. Will that be the applicant or the assessor?
Looking to counsel?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I would ask we clarify which items specifically we're on. I know that we went to item 5, but I believe that there's a few. Are they all being heard together, or is it one in particular?
Well, I believe we are on protest application number 19039, applicant name Pete E. Benville, APN 029-480-4400.
That is correct. All others have been withdrawn.
So should it be the applicant or the assessor that proceeds first?
Looking to counsel?
Sorry, give me just one moment as I'm checking my notes on this one.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I'm having just a little bit of trouble just determining the basis for the appeal in this one. There's a challenge as to whether or not there was new construction. Is that correct?
I'm, let's see.
Who's supposed to talk? I don't know.
The basis of the appeal is that originally, it looks like on the actual application that it was the 2019 Escape, and I think just the Escape. Mr. Benville there's confusion between planning and building, what their processes are and the assessor's processes. So I don't believe he has a problem with the actual assessed value. It's that we assessed him years after planning and building gave him a final.
Yeah, they gave me 2 finals. And
Right,
the
excuse
assessors
me.
department only picked up one of the finals. They have both finals here but they only went for the last final.
It can be.
Okay, I believe the assessor, if this is involving an escape assessment, I believe that the assessor would present first.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be under Prop 13, and I don't know why I'm not, because I've had all my finals with the building department. So I shouldn't be assessed, period. And I'd like to know why I am being assessed when after I've had the 2 finals from the building department.
Jeanette, do you want to go ahead with this? And we also have Tanya, and we have one of the appraisers here that went out there. So, Jeanette, go ahead and present yours, and we'll go from there, but try and make it as quick as you can.
Yes, okay. Good morning. Mr. Benville applied for a permit number BU 1992-0679 issued on June 1st, 1993 to construct a 1,356 square foot single family residence with a 440 square foot attached garage and a 1,656 square foot attached airplane hangar / garage. A 502 square foot wood uncovered deck was built, not listed in Trackit on the permit, but may have been included due to the age of the permit. It is hard to say. Once a permit is issued, an appraiser from the Mendocino County Assessor's Office field checks the property to assess the percentage of construction for each preceding January 1 lien date. Our records show after Mr. Benville's permit was issued, he did not break ground until sometime in 1997. The appraiser, Randy Keller, picked up 498 square feet of foundation at 5% complete on the 1998 January 1 lien date. Randy Keller's notes from the 1998 field inspection show Mr. Benville called and complained. He was not notified prior to inspection. Randy Keller explained our office policies and procedures and noted on the parcel record, Mr. Benville is to be called prior to any field inspections on the property. January 1 of 1999 through January 1 of 2001, there were no changes or progress in construction. In February of 2002, Randy Keller field inspected the property and noted the 1,356 square foot residence, 440 square foot garage were at 20% complete. The exterior shell was framed with sheathing, no rough-in plumbing or rough-in electrical, no roofing, just tar paper. He notes owner agrees to 20% complete. Randy Keller checked the property again for the January 1, 2003 lien date. The appraiser noted that there was no change to the percentage of completion from the prior year. Randy Keller checked the property again in April of 2004 and determined the 1,356 square foot residence and the 440 square foot garage were 40% complete on the January 1, 2004 lien date. Per notes, exterior shell done, siding, doors and windows, installed roofing on, most electrical installed, no plumbing. The appraiser, Randy Keller, notes there were no change in the percentage of completion on January 1, 2005 through January 1, 2007. In February of 2008, and another appraiser, Dave Brown, checked the property. He noted, per owner, the percentage of completion was 50% on the January 1, 2008 lien date. In January of 2009, a third appraiser, Roy Kornmeyer, noted he spoke with the owner over the phone and that the owner agreed the new construction was at 60% on January 1 of 2009. The owner stated the residence was completed to the bare minimum to be able to be lived in. On February 18, 2009, Mr. Benville received a final inspection from the Mendocino County Planning and Building Department based on meeting their minimum requirements. Roy Kornmeyer checked the property for January 1, 2010 through January 1, 2012, and determined there was no change to the percentage of completion. The 1,356 square foot residence and the 440 square foot attached garage remained at 60% complete. Roy Kornmeyer checked the property for January 1, 2010 through January 1, 2012, and determined there was no change to the percentage of completion. The 1,356 square foot residence and the 440 square foot attached garage remained at 60% complete. In February 2013, Roy Kornmeyer spoke to the owner. He stated he hopes to finish sheetrock and siding this year. He is 76 years old and building the house by himself. In March of 2014, a fourth appraiser, Eleanor Buono, spoke with the owner over the phone, said installed the sheetrock and siding at the residence and was going to try to install the hangar doors and finish the siding this year. Eleanor adjusted the percentage of completion to 75% for the January 1, 2014 lien date. On June 6, 2015, on June 15, 2015, Eleanor Buono noted no change in the percentage of completion on January 1, 2015. It remained at 75% for the January 1, 2015 lien date. In April of 2016, Eleanor Buono noted she spoke with the owner over the phone, said still working on the sheetrock siding and hangar doors. She determined no change in the percentage of new construction for the January 1, 2016 lien date. It remained at 75% complete for the January 1, 2016 lien date. On June 17, 2017, a fifth appraiser, Lindsay Schattmeyer, noted she spoke with the owner, indicated no change to the percentage of completion of new construction for January 1, 2017 lien date. It remained at 75% complete for 1/1/2017. Lindsay Schattmeyer noted there was no changes to the percentage of completion of new construction for the January 1, 2018 lien date. It remained at 75% complete for the January 1, 2018 lien date. In October of 2019, a sixth appraiser, Nolan Hutain, field checked the property for the January 1, 2019 lien date. He spoke with Mr. Benville at the property. Mr. Benville expressed the construction in progress was still not complete. Nolan Hutain was a new appraiser under training. He came back to the office where he and I went over the appraisal record together. I asked Nolan to reach out to Mr. Benville and ask what else he needs to do for the construction in progress to be 100% complete. If the construction in progress is close enough to 100% complete, we would call it complete, 95% complete as is, and lock in his Prop 13 tax base. Nolan spoke with Mr. Benville. The floors and stairs are still ply subfloor. There is no trim or baseboards throughout the residence. The exterior siding is just plywood sprayed with a sealant. Needs trim on the corners to seal the Tyvek paper and black tar paper at the corners of the residence and the corners of the attached airplane hangar garage. The attached airplane hangar garage is still missing the door. Nolan Hutain spoke to Mr. Benville. He explained the assessor would agree to call the residence 95% complete as is at 85% good to allow for depreciation due to the age of the structure at 12/31/19. Mr. Benville agreed to these terms. While processing the new construction, 95% complete as is, I discovered the 1,656 square foot attached airplane hangar garage had erroneously missed the tax roll. Under Proposition 13, when an assessor error occurs, the assessor can go back a maximum of 4 years and pick up escaped assessments. I advised the appraiser Nolan Hutain to process the record at 75% complete at 85% good to allow for depreciation for the January 1, 2019 lien date. Then to avoid a more significant increase for the 2019-20 correction to the roll, to call the entire new construction 95% complete as is at 12/31/2019. Since the increase was due in large part to the assessor error not picking up the attached airplane hangar garage, I advised the appraiser Nolan Hutain to process the correction and the supplemental assessment this way to minimize any hardship this may cause for Mr. Benville. If we were to go back and assess the new construction on February 18, 2009 at 95% complete as is, at 85% good to allow for depreciation, This would generate corrections, escape bills for the 2015, 16, 17, and 18 tax rolls. See spreadsheet attached Exhibit A, showing the roll values from 2009 through 2018 with the residence and garage assessed at the percentage complete for each affected lien date, as well as see spreadsheet attached Exhibit B shows what the adjusted roll value would be if we were to go back and generate corrected bills, proposed escaped assessments for the adjustment for the percent complete for each lien date to 95% complete as is at 85% good to allow for the depreciation of the final completion date of 2/18/2009. In addition to the issue of when to call the new construction complete, there was an appraiser error in 2009, which caused the 1997 base year value of 8,500 to be dropped off the tax roll. The assessor has agreed to add the 1997 base year value of 8,500 factored to 2020 in the amount of 12,653 back to the tax roll as of the January 1, 2020 lien date. Mr. Benville believes since he received a final completion back in 2009, we should not be able to add value for the completion of his residence and other miscellaneous structures. I have explained to Mr. Benville, several appraisers were told repeatedly year after year that he had not completed his residence and other miscellaneous structures. We have no choice but to get them assessed at 95% complete as is to set a Proposition 13 base year. I have spoken to Mr. Benville on several occasions and explained the benefits of not going back and calling the residence garage, wood uncovered deck, and garage hanger 95% complete as is at 12/15/2009. The assessor has agreed to pick up the residence garage, wood uncovered deck, and garage hanger complete at 95% as is with the depreciation of 85% good to allow for depreciation at 12/31/2019. If you compare the values on the attached spreadsheets, you will see it is more beneficial for Mr. Benville to call the construction 95% complete as is at 85% good to allow for depreciation for all structures at 12/31/19. See page 2 of Exhibit B, column 4. The factored base year value using the 2019 completion date factored to 2019, accounting for the dropped 97 base year and the escaped improvements at 95% complete as is equals 298,326 minus the land value of 13,664 and minus the homeowner's exemption of 7,000 equals a total improvement value of 277,662. Whereas adding the value to the roll as of 12/31/19, the improvement value would be 277,116, not to mention the escaped assessments that would be incurred for the fiscal years 15, 16, 17, and 18 for a total of $5,209.35, which the assessor has agreed to waive. See Exhibit C, column 3, shows how the assessor processed the record. You can see the assessor did not add back the dropped 1997 base year value of 12,405 for the 2019 tax roll, allowing an additional savings of $133.85. If you add back the 97 base year value dropped from the roll in the amount of 12,405, plus the new established 2019 roll value of 271,711, minus the homeowner's exemption of 7,000, you get the 277,116. If you take the
Jeanette.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me. So, I mean, I think that we can all see that the main thing here that we understand is that the processes between planning and building and the assessor's office are completely different. We have certain things that we have to go by to go ahead and assess them at whatever percentage rate that we feel that it's done. Planning and building may have given Mr. Benville a couple different finals, but that doesn't mean that the assessor's office shows it 100% complete. We still don't show it and wouldn't if it weren't, for such a long timeline that, it's not complete. There's no floor covering, there's no If anybody other than Mr. Benville owned this property, it would not be considered a complete construction. So we have Nolan Hutain here that can quickly go through what he believes when he saw the property. We also have a couple pictures that somehow weren't in the packet that we'd like to share, so you can see what our part of the where we got our percentages. So this is Nolan Hutain, one of the real property appraisers. Thank you, Jeanette.
Welcome.
Is it my turn now?
Yes.
No, not yet.
Not quite. We still got a timer for our side. I can show some of the photographs that I had seen. I'm going to share my screen. Is someone else sharing their screen right now on the Zoom?
Uh,
It says you cannot start sharing.
Yes, we are
Oh,
for the timer.
Oh, the timer screen. It says I can't share the screen if someone else is sharing the screen. Is there a way to just,
We have uploaded the photos to the agenda so everybody can view them.
well, that's the thing. I think we had some photos that weren't initially in the original packet that I just sent an email to the clerk of the board.
Yes, those have been attached.
Oh, they're attached. Okay.
But go ahead.
Those photos that I had, you can clearly see there's the only siding there is sheer ply with the coating that's on it. Inside there were still incomplete floors. There was just a wood flooring. I believe also the staircase may have been semi-complete. I didn't walk through the whole place. It was just a real quick downstairs. That was about it. And there was, but from the pictures, this appeared to be like a building that was partially in construction. I saw a lot of the materials in the garage way, laminate or vinyl flooring was stacked up in the garage. So you could, and even in the garage, you can actually see through, inside the garage, you can kind of still see through it. So there was parts of the house that, from any observer, if you were to sell this on the market, this would still be something that needs construction work done to it to complete it. And that was a judgment call on my part. And then Jeanette and I went over it, given the length of how this house was sitting for so long in this condition. We decided to do the depreciation, which Jeanette already talked about. And we went from there. Other than that, I think that's basically what I saw. I talked to Benville for a short period. He was saying nothing has changed and that everything's the same as last time. Once again, I was a newer appraiser. I've never seen Benville's property before prior to this one encounter. So I was having to go off of what the prior appraisers wrote down in their notes. And we had to go back because there's quite a few appraisers, as Jeanette lamented on, that there was quite a few appraisers that have already visited this property, in incrementally adding construction as time went on. And there were some periods where it was based on the owner saying what they said and then the appraiser going with it at the time. But yeah, I think that's about it on my part. Yeah.
Ask Jeanette if she has anything to
And
say.
Jeanette, if you have anything else to say, feel free.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that although Mr. Benville has stated his house was not 100% complete back in 2009 when he received his final from the Mendocino County Planning and Building Department, he contends his value should not be changed from his assessment in 2009 when the roll value only represented 60% of the value of the residence at 1,356 square feet with the 440 square foot attached garage and zero value on the 1,656 square foot attached airplane hangar for the 500 and also zero on the 502 square foot uncovered deck. So I just wanted to get clarification on that, there were several things. Not only were we not assessing the house at 100%, we were never assessing the hangar and or the deck. And so for those reasons, we have to pick up those structures to get them set on the tax roll. And that's by the assessor waiving, going back and doing those escapes. We're trending it forward using a 2009 cost table giving him benefit of that and the depreciation. So that's, we've done everything we can to try to do what is going to be the least impact for financially for Mr. Benville. And that's where we're at this point.
Does that complete the assessor's presentation?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it my turn to talk yet?
I believe it's your turn, Mr. Benville, as
Okay,
the
well,
applicant.
The very last statement that she made was that I was at 95% because I wasn't complete. That is totally wrong, even by their acknowledgement. If you look at one of my things on, it's Leland's printout, it says, I don't know if you have this, I have it numbered as number 21. Do you have that?
I'm looking.
Who's looking?
This is Board Chair Shepherd. What, excuse me, may I ask the clerk what page of the packet that Mr. Benville's referencing?
Here's what it looks like. Do you see that?
Oh, yes. Okay, let me get to that.
Right at the bottom. Well, I'll wait till you get it. But I need more than 20 minutes to. I mean, so many things are wrong by her statement.
All right, so is it page 107 of the packet that Mr. Benville's referencing?
Well, it's this here that you put out. You have.
Yes, I believe I have that document in front of me.
Just get your copy. It'll be the same, I'm sure.
All right, you want to go ahead and walk us through that, please?
Okay, we're right down at the bottom. In 2019, it says here that I am complete. If you look over, it says partial complete. Partial construction, they said I'm complete right down at the bottom. So that means that I'm not 95%, I'm 100%, but you can't do, I have to inform you, you can't do finals on percentages because it just does not work. You do it as the building department does it, and the way they do it is it either done or it's not done. If it's not done, you don't get your final. And percentage is all out of the game. I can show you that by another one of your things here. Let's see if I can find it. They gave me 3.5 day being building department. Before I was final, they gave me a 3.5 page thing of what I had to do, what I had to complete before the final. Now, I also asked the assessor's department, what do they have? Now, on what the building department says, it says final inspection checklist. On the one, they gave me a 1-page assessment thing. It's right here. I think you can see it. And it says here, it's a guideline, not a final, a guideline. So how they can say that they can final me, I don't understand. But anyway, on this guideline and why you can't use percentages, it shows it very clearly. If you look up at the top, do you have that one offhand?
I'm sorry, which document are you referencing?
It's number 9 on the top right-hand corner. You'll see a number 9 of the packet.
All right.
It's your own assessment or cost breakdown, whatever you want to call it.
I
But
think he's referring to page 96 in the packet.
96. Thank you so much. I see it in front of me. Thank you.
see the top of it there where you have sheetrock and you don't have sheetrock. I'll put it that way. Anyway, on you don't have sheetrock, you have different percentages. If you put sheetrock in there, just one little item, it changes the percentages. So that's why you can't use percentages on my house It's a custom built house. The only way you could use percentage accurately is to have it done when you're drawing up the plans for the house. The plans that I followed, they are not in percentages and they can't be in percentages. I don't know how they can do it, but they'd have to do it when they drew up the plan to put percentages in there. And as you can see with your thing, you just put up the sheetrock, that automatically changes the percentages. Well, anything you do will change those percentages, and percentages should be thrown all out. And so I hope, have I made my point okay?
Well, I'm a little confused as to what end result you are seeking.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Well, what is it that you're asking the Assessment Appeals Board to do?
Well, just that percentages don't work. They're not accurate. And it shows
All
you.
right, I think that we can agree that
And with a
percentage of completion is different between the building department and the assessor's office. My point is, what action would you like the assessors or this panel to take in your appeal?
Honor my two finals. I had two finals. The first one was in 07, and it was for the house. That was the biggest final. I spent something like 13 years building it, and I was an owner builder. And so
but that's not really the purview of this board, I don't believe. I can ask Mr. Curtis.
well, no, I say that's one final. That was my biggest final. And the second final was for the hangar.
Okay.
And so that completed my whole project there. And then when I thought it was all completed at that time. I didn't know about Roy's remark that was unfounded. He put a remark in there that you people are using, and why you didn't go ahead and research it to find out if it's true. One thing he said that I agreed with him on a 60% completion. That was in 09. And that's crazy because it was fully complete by the building inspectors, fully complete. And here he put 60% complete. That's crazy. I mean, that means I wouldn't even had my hangar wouldn't even be there. And if you want to look at the pictures that I brought in, you have those pictures there. I'm doing this it's kind of in a mess here. I'm sorry. But I have 3 pictures I sent you.
I believe you labeled that item 10,
Yes.
11,
You got
and
it.
12.
Yeah. Well, the first picture shows the house when it was final. The first final, 07 final. Now, do you see anything wrong with that? I mean, you mentioned that something about the siding was wrong. I put on another siding later on because it wasn't the varnish that I was doing. I have to varnish it every 2 to 4 years, and that's, boy, and when you're trying to do a 2-story place on ladders, that's pretty hard to do. So I changed over and put cedar siding on, which it's been beautiful. It's worked a lot better, but that was under maintenance, not under construction. And I talked to the building department about it, and they said, no, you don't need a permit for it. It's okay to go ahead and put that on if it worked better for you, because it doesn't have any structural value. So I went ahead and put that on most of it, except for the front of the hangar. I haven't done that part yet, but that I can do on my own. It doesn't require a permit, so it shouldn't affect you people at all. But anyway, that's part. So you see picture number 1 there. That was done taken in 07. If you look at picture 2, that was taken in 08. Now, when Dave Brown assessed it, in 08, that's what he was looking at. Now, that might have been part of his assessment for the house part, when he was assessing the house. I don't know, but anyway, we can take care of that, no problem. And then the third picture is what it was like when Roy Kornmeyer saw it. It was complete. Now, you may not agree with the building department about what is complete and what isn't complete, but I would say the building department, they have the right to final me. And I don't know what authority would give you the right to final me. And I've heard it from two of your assessors saying, we haven't finaled you yet. And I told them, you don't have the authority to final me. Only the building department has the authority to final me. Am I right or wrong about that?
That would be a question for the county council, not this board, I believe.
Well, no, it should be about the board too, because, hey, they're not, the assessor's office, the assessor is not trained to be a building inspector. And I think that's true, isn't it? And they don't have the training and they don't have the expertise to evaluate property. Like, all they can do is when they come, what they see there, they put a value on it. That's fine. And they did that with me. I have no problem with it up through 2009. Roy put a value of what, $9,554 on the hangar there. I think it would be a little bit more. It'd probably be double that, because when Dave saw the property, it was picture number 2 here, the second picture. And he actually saw about half the hangar already built. And when he said that I was 50% complete, which is true, he was talking about the hangar. He wasn't talking about the house. The house was completely out of the picture. It had already been final, and he assessed it. And he assessed it at, I forget what, 34,000 or something like that. Well, in his assessment, he might have assessed it with the hangar half built. We could take off the $9,554 from the house part and add it to the hangar part, and you probably have a better figure, because I think he figured it a little bit low there, and actually it would be 19,000 if you double that, 19,000, almost $20,000. I think that would be more of a correct figure for it. And but anyway, I think everything was complete. It may not be complete to what you think, but I'm the one living in it. I built my own house. It was good for me when the building inspection department said I was final. I was complete. I went back to them about a year ago and say, there's a question here. The assessing department says I'm not complete. And he said, no, he says, you are complete. You have done everything you need to do. And so why should the assessing department tell me how I have to have my house decorated and whatever else to live in? If I want to live in it that way, that's fine. I have, with the way the building inspection department final my house is okay. I'm not planning to sell it. You said, well, if you go to sell it, I'm not selling it. And I'll be buried when that house is sold, I hope. So I plan to live in it, and I'm fine with it the way it is. You mentioned something about carpeted from wall to wall. Why do I have to carpet the floor wall to wall? I have throw carpets on it, and I love them. They're all different. They're not the new, which, the new ones, they emit plasticizers, which is not good for you, and they do for years until they can finally leach out of there. Well, I don't have to smell that stuff all the time. I have these nice throw carpets. They all mean a little bit different.
Mr. Beneville,
Yeah, go ahead.
I hate to interrupt you, but again, I'm curious what it is you hope to achieve
Okay, what
the
I hope.
Assessment Appeals Board this morning.
Okay, what I hope to achieve is to erase all those new taxes that was put on to me extra in 2019. I think it was wrong. It was wrong. You should have followed the guide. I talked to Santa Rosa. I used to build down in Sonoma County. I talked to Sonoma County assessors about that. I said, you know, look at here, they don't accept the final. And they said, well, we do. We honor the finals. And they said, you'll have to discuss it with them, but they should honor the finals too. And they're not honoring the finals when they say I'm not complete and they want to tax me because I should be under Prop 13. And I can go in, and they mentioned that I had a slow start. That was true. And the reason that was true is I had 2 cancers. I had bladder cancer when I was 47. At 54, I had prostate cancer. And they had to open me, I had a prostatectomy. They have to open up me from belly button on down. And boy, that was a heck of an operation. And it took a while before I could lift those 2x12s that were 20 foot long and use them as
Right. So I
building.
don't want to, I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but I'm going to ask you one more time. So
Yeah.
your position is that you want your assessment to be as of a 2009 value date
Well, no.
versus the 2019 value date?
No, hold on.
All right.
I know it goes up, they can go up at 2% per year, and it did that from 2009 up to 2019. It went up by 2% every year. That's fine. That's legal by, I mean, my retirement check doesn't go up like that. It doesn't go up 2%, it goes up 1%. But anyway, I know you have the right to do 2%. You can do 2% all the way up there, which it has been, 2019. And what I'm asking you, all these new taxes, you have 4 of them that you tax me with, they should be, I'd like to see them erased out of there. You can give me my money back, or you can put a credit on it. I don't need to have my money right away. You can put a credit on it and keep the money and take it off of the tax bills later on. That's fine with me. I don't have any trouble with that. But I think if you go beyond 2%, you're going beyond final. You're going beyond Prop 13. And I don't know how you can override Prop 13, but you're doing it. And you're doing it on Roy's assessment when he said all of a sudden, hey, you're only 60% completed. That's crazy. And I mean, even though
Excuse me, I'm going to ask you one question, if I may, and I apologize for interrupting you.
That's okay, go ahead.
What was the date of the final that you received, the final from the Mendocino County Department of Planning and Building Services?
Okay, the date I'll tell you both of them. The date that I received the first one, which was the major one, it was the house. That's the one I put the most time and materials in.
And what was the date?
That was March 8th of 07. And you got that.
All right, excuse me. And then for the hangar, what was the final date for that?
That was 2000. That was February 18th of 2009.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's been mine. I mean, I should have been on Prop 13 clear from the time the building department finaled me. And because they're the ones that had the right to final me. And so I was happy as a clam, and away I went. And all these things that they say that I said that I wasn't complete with the construction is wrong. I said that I don't have to do, I preface it, that I don't have to do one other thing to this house. I can let it stay. I don't have to put on the extra cedar siding that I put on. I'm glad I did.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
This is Board Member Shelley Barrett. 2009, what was the final? There was a final then as well, right?
That was the final I told you about.
That was for the hangar, I believe.
For the hangar, okay.
hangar only, because the house was already final back in 2007. And that is in your records because that's where I got it, is in your records. And I went to the building department and asked them, am I complete? They said, yes, you are. You're complete. You don't have to do another thing to your property. Anything that I did later was maintenance. And that everything was maintenance from that point on. And even the door you mentioned about putting on the hangar door, I plan to put on the hangar door sometime, I hope. And why I'm doing that is that my neighbor passed away and he has a hangar that's right by mine, side by side. And they're renting it out to other people and they come in with their planes and instead of turning clockwise, and they turn counterclockwise and they blast with their prop, they blast all over.
Mr. Benville, I'm sorry, your time is finished. Your time has come to an end.
I have a lot more to say.
Well, I apologize, but you were allotted 20 minutes. I do have a question for the assessor.
Okay,
Okay, so is it common that the issuance of the final from the building department varies from the assessor's opinion as to when the residents or the improvements are final?
yes, it's very common.
Okay, all right. And what measurement or guideline, excuse me, does the assessor's office use to determine whether or not a residence or whether or not improvements are final?
So that's what we have our checkoff sheet. We have our, based on the State Board of Equalization's requirements, we have to go out and determine the percentage completion for every January lien date based on the amount of construction that's complete. And you can see, as Mr. Benville presented, the cost breakdown sheet shows, it's a certain percent if it's just foundation, it's a certain percent once the framing is up, it's a certain percent once the rough plumbing and electrical is in, and so on and so on and so on. So when we go out and do our field inspections for each January 1 lien date, we go off of this cost guide and we look and say, okay, I'm at the property. I can physically see exactly what's there. And obviously not everything's always done in the exact order as the
Right.
sheet. So I will have to sometimes go, okay, well, this is done. Those percentages are this, then I'll add those percentages up to get my total percentage complete for that specific January 1 lien date.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That was my
You're
question.
welcome.
All right, let's see. So I guess we need to go into, well, I'm sorry, does the assessor have a rebuttal?
We just have a couple things. This is Katrina Bartlemy, the assessor, and I'm sorry that we haven't been introducing ourselves. We're not used to this forum at all. So, what the main thing that we have is that planning and building is one complete department and the assessor's office is a complete different department.
Right.
The assessor's office cannot share the information we have with planning and building. And back then was before we had our tool Track It to where we could go up and see everything that was happening. So we were not aware, we never got a final from planning and building. Although in our eyes, even though they finalized him, his construction was not complete. So that's what we've been trying to do. We have, Mr. Benville has gone to the State Board of Equalization. We've explained everything to them. They cleared us. He's gone to an attorney. We've talked to his attorney. That's cleared us. His daughter, he allowed us to talk to her. That cleared us. So, we have talked to Mr. Benville time upon time upon time, trying to explain this to him. And, it's just not sinking in. We've had at least 4 appraisers, if not 5, take him and explain everything to him as the assessor's office does things, not as planning and building does things. So we just don't know what else we can do. Jeanette, do you have anything to add?
I just wanted to make sure that the board was clear that he was never assessed at 100% complete. So he was never locked into a Prop 13 tax base, which is why this became so apparent to be dealt with now. So we could get him locked into a Prop 13 tax base, but to do so, we have to get him to as close to 100% complete as we can to be fair and accurate, and also to give him that depreciation, because obviously the building is no longer brand new. So I just wanted to say Katrina has really bent over backwards to give him every benefit she possibly can within the, the statutes of the law, even by waiving those escaped assessments for those 4 years that we could go back on, not ever assessing the hangar, which clearly was our error. And we had so much turnover and different things happening internally. So we've really done everything we can to bring down that deficit for him. And I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Right. Thank you.
And Ms. Shepherd, according to Jeanette's spreadsheets, you can see, once you have a moment to really look at them, that if we had finalized his building in 2008 and 9, because prices were so high at that time, he would have been paying more. We would have assessed him more than what we, even though it's trended, than what we're assessing him now.
Right.
So we feel within the statutes of the law that we are giving Mr. Benville the best deal we can within the law. And we are required by the Constitution to assess for everything there is on a property. So we've done what we can.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Benville, do you have a final rebuttal? I don't believe Mr. Benville's audio is working.
We'll go unmute him.
Okay, thank you.
He didn't have anywhere to go, and I just felt so bad that we finally, I just invited him into our office. So, and he's in
Good.
an office by himself.
Okay.
Okay,
Mr. Benville, do you want to,
Now, can you?
you've got 1 minute.
Yeah, you still haven't answered this table that I got from you saying I was complete. Now, you said that I am complete. Now you say I'm not complete. I'm 95. How come in this table you said I'm complete then?
Now, I just asked the assessor regarding their ability to make a determination as to a state of completeness
On this
versus the
paper,
planning department. They're
on
two
this paper,
different
you say I'm complete.
county departments. So it is within their purview to make a determination as to the state of completion of improvements. And they did that in your case.
Okay, how come on this paper it says I'm complete and you're saying I'm not complete now? How do you explain that? Yes.
They are saying that you are complete. I believe their date of completion was 2019, was it not?
2019, I was complete. So
Correct.
you're saying I'm not complete. You're saying I'm 95%. Why are you going back?
Well, I think 95% is used as sort of a euphemism in the real estate world, because
Here it
in
says-
terms of the
I'm
real
saying
estate
I'm
market,
complete. Here
certain
I'm,
elements of your construction would be considered incomplete.
well, here you say that I'm complete by your own words. And now you're saying I'm 95% complete. Why is there a difference?
Again, I think it's just the nomenclature of the assessor's office. That is a virtual state of completeness when they're
You're
saying
not
you're
answering my
95%
question.
complete.
You're not
Well,
answering.
I'm trying to the best of my ability.
No, tell me why this sheet says I'm 100% and you say I'm 95.
Again, I think that there were certain elements that perhaps market participants might interpret as not complete. Therefore, they're using that
Saying that you're wrong.
95% terminology.
So you're saying you're wrong when you made the sheet out for me then.
No, I'm saying that we're mincing terminology. They're calling it 95% complete, which
This
is
is
in
calling it
essence,
complete.
what it means is the building is essentially livable. You can occupy it, but there are certain elements that viewed by the general marketplace would say this house is not 100% complete. But in terms of how it's going to be assessed, it essentially is 100% complete. And that is the status that they assigned as of 2019.
So what you're saying is some years later, you're going to reassess me again at a very.
No. They're actually trying as far as my read or listen to this, they're actually trying to protect you by establishing a year date, a value date, so that you're no longer open to this reassessment because your residence wasn't considered 100% complete. You remain in a state where you can be reassessed when your building permit isn't closed by the assessor's office or isn't viewed as at an end, let's say. They don't close it, but your building permit needs to be considered final. They're the improvements considered complete so that they can establish your value date.
Okay, now what if I had owner builders permit? I was an owner builder.
Well, I'm assuming you were
I
an
had
owner
to get-
builder.
I had to get different insurance when I had
Okay,
the owner
But
builder.
that's really not part of this appeal.
It is, because if I have an incident in my property, say a house burns down or something, and they come back and see this 60% not complete, and they say, oh, well, you weren't complete, so, and you were supposed to be under owner builder, and you don't have owner builder's insurance, so you don't get anything for your.
Okay, well, that's a completely different topic. Your
that-
rebuttal period is
to the fact that you're not considering that 100% complete.
great. Well, I appreciate your input. I think it's time for the board to consider your appeal. So I would like to ask that we go into closed session.
I just sent the link to the closed session.
Okay, where do I find that?
It's going to be
Sorry,
in your
Madam Chair, before
email.
we go, if we
Okay.
could briefly just ask if there's any public comment on the item.
Okay, do I need to do that? Ask for public comment? All right,
Please.
Is there any public comment on this agenda item?
There's no
Aye.
public comment.
Thank you. We will now go into closed session. I hope oh. All right, I was visible in the last meeting, so we are back in session regarding protest application number 19-039, applicant Pete E. Benville, AP number 029-480-4400. I did have a question. I don't recall at the beginning of the meeting if there was a request for written findings for this appeal.
No, there were not.
All right, thank you. The Assessment Appeals Board has come to a decision. And I'm sorry.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I don't think there was a vote taken and closed, so I would just suggest a motion and a roll call vote at this time.
Oh, all right. I'd like to hear a motion for a vote on protest application number 19039. All those in favor of the, well, let's see, how should I frame that? I'm sorry.
I would suggest that one of the members could make a motion for the intended action.
Okay,
I make a motion to, what am I, for case 19039 to make a decision on it? Is that what I?
Yeah, I would just suggest, is it a granting of an appeal, a denial of the appeal, and are you upholding or reversing the assessor's determination?
Denial of appeal
and upholding the assessors.
and upholding the assessor's opinion.
I second.
Madam Chair, I would suggest if the clerk could call the roll.
Oh, sorry, thank you. If I could ask the clerk to call the roll for the vote.
Member Barrett
Aye.
and Chair Shepherd.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. I believe now we're on to agenda item number 6. Is that correct?
Yes, we are.
So this is Katrina. I'm not sure Mr. Benville understands what just happened.
Okay, so we can discuss it.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Benville?
I believe he's muted.
He's talking. We're gonna go and mute him again. I just don't think he understands what happened.
I have a hard time hearing.
There you go.
This is Board Chair Shepherd. Did you, we did vote on your appeal. Did you hear that?
Yes,
Okay.
and what was the vote?
The vote was unanimous. The board upheld the assessor's opinion.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Okay, very good. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. So now may we move on to agenda item 6?
Yes.
6A, approval of minutes of October 25, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's an opportunity for public expression.
There's no public expression.
Thank you. Any matters from staff? Hearing none. Any announcements? Again, apparently none. Could the clerk please confirm the date of the next meeting?
The next meeting will be April 25th of 2022.
Thank you. And I could hear a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I second. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, everyone.